call upon Mr. Steve Fischer as the last speaker for the Republican candidates.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Steve Fischer. I've been in part of this town since 1963. It's great to look out and see North City because in the old days, we all hang out with my mother, Mr. Connolly, St. Gregory's. A lot of you kind of raised me, kept me out of trouble. I was a snot-nosed, punk little kid who kind of grew up. I want to thank Mr. Connolly, guided me through my early years in the New York City Police Department, but he didn't tell me to come to run and go someplace else. Quickly, I've been involved in many things in this town. I was one of the original coaches of the North Rockland Soccer Association. Everybody knows LVO Marty. One day my stepfather walks into the house and says, "I'm tired of you guys sitting around doing nothing around here. You're now coaches." And the things that LVO taught us and said to us, it's about the kids. And this is one thing you should all realize. It's about the kids in this town. It's about growing up in this town. I'm a graduate of North Rockland High School, St. Thomas Aquinas College, graduate of the New York City Police Department Academy. I started off as a housing cop, walking by myself 2 o'clock in the morning in the housing projects in the South Bronx. I learned how to deal with people back then. And dealing with everybody is the same. You could be the richest guy in the world or the poorest guy in the world. I worked, after I left the police department, I went to Wall Street. I did outside security, I ran the bombs in their protection. I oversaw the contract. I went to the United Nations, I oversaw the contract there. Right now, I'm with Barry Security, I'm a liaison with the District Council of Carpenters, and I'm assigned to Newsweek magazine to solve their problems. The good thing about going last is, like everyone said, we have a great crew of people running for office this year. And as Luann said, it's everybody how they're going to treat it. I am too a passionate guy. Did you ever go down to town, sit at the park, look north towards the river? Beautiful, isn't it? Well, I think we can develop that into something really nice. We also got to develop the land up here. What do we have, 15, 17 acres up here? Dome Stadium is nice. Also corporate, we have to bring jobs. We got to get mom and dad working. We can't have mom working 2 jobs. We can't have dad working 3 jobs. Now, I don't have all the numbers that my friends here have. I just see what I see in this town. I remember being a young kid in this town. The place was fantastic. Anybody remember the SL station? It's now 18-2. I'm also a member of the Stony Point Fire Department. Spent most of my life at the fire department. My father was a member. I sit on the board of directors for the fire department, and I used to sit on the board of directors for the soccer league. So I gave back to this town, and now it's time for me to give back. One of the biggest things I think we miss in this town is a library. You ever go to Rose Memorial during the day? You can't get a seat. It's not being properly used. We have to expand on it. We have to bring radals, clean radals into this town. We have to bring radals that's going to produce this town so we can get our structure going again. We have to restore the lowlands, the Lake Washington parks, improve maintenance of the town parks and recreation spaces. Anybody know there's a park on top of Buckbird Mountain? Anybody know there's a mountain park up there? Ever been to it? I live across from it. It's horrible. We gotta get money. We gotta do something. We gotta help this town. We gotta promote the town facilities. Like I said, you go down to Clark Park and you look up the river, it's absolutely beautiful. The seawall, absolutely beautiful. But I think we can develop the lower end of the north end of the waterfront along the railroad tracks. There's a lot of space to put businesses in there, restaurants, boutiques, whatever is going to help our town. I also believe in creating a parents' youth on council. I'm also a professional ski instructor by trade. The job in the police department was, that's what I did for the police department, was ski race. We have a lot of great ski areas up here. We have to find more things for the kids to do. Kids can't sit in the house and watch video games all night, or play video games, excuse me. It's ridiculous. And also we have to create a new town center. We have to get a new era of cooperation with state properties and agencies to benefit residents. We have to look at Paramount State Park. You know, over the last 30 years or so, they've reduced with the things that they do for this community, and we have to pick up the slack. They used to have their own fire department. Now we serve all the parks. Every time there's a car crash, a fire, men and women of Stony Point are responding to the park. They are being taxed the least amount of tax available to pay for this town. We have to increase the taxes that the state pays for us for the parks. We have to capitalize on Stony Point historic sites if we can. There's many things we can do for us. When I was in the police department, we had 6 major strategies given to us by Mayor Giuliani and Commissioner Brad. And the main thing they told us was to
utilize none of this. Hundreds of thousands of people passing basically right through our town that never spend a dime at Stony Point. The only people from out of the town that spend money here go to the golf course. Nobody from outside North Rockland shops in Stony Point. Vast resources that we're not tapping into. The waterfront, marinas, oil distributor, LJ Kennedy, landfill, serves no one in Stony Point except for a couple of parks. The Ledgeworth property, this beautiful property we have here, serves no one with the exception of the golf course. The business corridor serves no one with the exception of Stony Point residents. Economics 101, you need a plan. You have to have a plan, a successful plan, a working plan, implemented. All the forces that work against developing businesses here, what the enemy of businesses in this town, I have no idea. Trying to get a shot right in this town with a monumental task. And what do we want to put there? A yard waste facility. Great, conducive to developing. We have an industrial zone that utilizes as such. We have a business corridor utilizing as such. We have park systems, excuse me. We have Let's develop this and utilize it. Some of them serve the populations that drive through this area, and some will serve the people that live here.
I believe
we don't have a workable business plan.
Let him continue. I would like to very much agree with this man. What he said is so true. We have Harrington Park right by us. All these people come from Stony Point. Nobody has ever developed a plan to make use of these people, to have restaurants for them, that maybe bed and breakfast for them, all these kind of things. There is no plan. This man hit the nail right on the head. Thank you, sir.
And I totally agree with you. Let me tell you, a few chances I get to come to board meetings, who do we hear from? George. George is saying, always screaming, we need a master plan, we need a master plan. I agree with him every time, I sit in the back. And I've argued with George when he used to be a politician and walk around to my house. We argued about the police departments, the city police department. I explained CompStat to him, what it means and how to save money in the city of New York using the CompStat plan, which is also a plan used by a lot of cities in different states around the country now. And I agree with you, sir. If we develop bed and breakfasts, like Frank just said, hotels, we can use the golf course. People will stay here on a weekend at the West Point.
The lady is out of order. Fischer will, the lady is out of order. Fischer will continue.
I'll accept your question, man.
That's 2 minutes.
May I answer your question, please? Yes, Neil, please.
It's literally impossible as an individual person in this town of Stony Point with the planning and the zoning board. I'm a small, my husband and I, we were left a little bit of property. It took eons of money and eons of time to get a subdivision. You can't put a bed and breakfast in town because they don't want one in town.
Well, we have to change it.
That's exactly.
We have to change it. I think this is the team that's going to change it.
Time in the office.